Good morning, everyone. So today, and this session is related to marketing the event. I think most of you were also in the sponsorship session of sports yesterday. And obviously it's critical with regards to sponsorship to talk about and to know how to marketing our events on post sports. So today we have 4 speakers, 3 presentations. Jerzy Raducha is a deputy director from Szczecin City Council. He was project manager for the tall ships races visits to Szczecin in 2007 and 2013. He will present and expose all of his expertise today. Then we will go for the Fredrikstad presentation with Bjorg and Inger, project managers for next year, Antwerp of 2014, and ending with Leo Griffin. Well, background in technical illustration. He developed the design guidelines and rules for Sail Training International, and also for the port identity of all 4 times. So we'll start with Szczecin presentation, and then I will just do a small remark. I will ask you to put your questions at the end of this session. It will be hard to have time to get all the questions answered, so I will suggest if you have further questions after the session, you can just network with the speakers after. Thank you.
Thank you for coming. The main problem, I think, we have as an organizer of such a big event is money. Never enough of them. Starting to prepare our event, we have just 75% of the total budget. Total budget of Szczecin events, it was nearly 5.5 million euros. So finally we find several sponsors, and they covered nearly 25% of total budget. The rest money came from the city budget. The main sponsor of our event was a brewery company, the biggest Polish brewery company, Kompania Piwowarska, which was presented during our event by Mark Tyskian. And the second very big sponsor was the biggest Polish bank, PKO. PP means not the British Petroleum, but Polish bank, and Szczecin and Świnoujście Seaport Authority. Negotiations with Polish bank finished just 4 months before the event, so it was really hard and very exciting time for us. And Polish sponsors are very demanding. So we have to prepare for our sponsors a lot of spaces during our event, a lot of banners, places for the stands, and so on and so on. So it was a very hard and fascinating job. But they wanted us to prepare a perfect promotion of our event. So now a few words about promotion. Our promotion consists of 2 ways. The first one, it was a promotion of our city because we were presenting sponsor of tall ship races, and the name of our city was located in the logo of event. And the second way, it was a regular promotion prepared by our city. So the first way of promotion. City was present and active in post-port in 2010, 11, 12, and of course 13. We are active in 18 cities and 12 countries. Probably it was the biggest promotion of our city in the history of our city. The main role in promotion of our city in every port played our representation. So we wanted them to lead a promotion and information stand about our city in every port, and we wanted them to promote our event, and of course we wanted them to be very active to prepare some activities dedicated to visitors and crew members. And some examples. So this is our information stand in Dublin. That stand was visited by many Poles which live actually in Ireland. They promote our event. They have a special sale with slogan "Let's meet in Szczecin, final Toship Races 2013." They prepared a lot of fire shows, acrobatic shows, and they danced with audience, with crew members. So, generally speaking, they were very, very active in every report. We are very proud of them. But they were very specially prepared for crew parade in every city. They danced, they juggled, and they taught juggling on our information stand. But of course, there were winners of particular legs and whole races. There is a Dublin, and Frederick Chopin was a winner of Cape Horn Trophy. Summarizing, I think that the improved knowledge about Szczecin in many European countries, they are very popular and recognizable by crew members, and we think that they done very excellent job promoting our event in 2013. And finally, I think that they have a small contribution to change image of Poland and Poles between West European citizens and countries. They were very good prepared, spoke foreign languages, they were very active, joyful, smiling, and so on. And now, regular promotion of our event. That promotion was divided in 3 stages. The first one started during the first 3 quarters of 2012. The second stage, last quarter of 2012, and 3 quarters of 2013. And of course, the last stage, it was a communication during our event. We established several case success measures. Of course, positive feedback from our citizens, visitors, and crew members. We wanted to organize the biggest outdoor event in Poland, and we are successful about it. And we wanted to come about 2.5 million people to our event. Our promotion we established several key target groups. Of course, citizens of our city and its metropolitan area, citizens of countries located around the Baltic Sea and Czech Republic, of course, European and Polish sailing society, citizens of big Polish cities, especially located on the west part of Poland and south part of Poland, because they are traditionally our visitors on the coast, and of course people on holiday on our coast and tourists in Szczecin. Partners of such a promotion was our local press, radio, and television. We have a slogan for that first stage: Great Pride, Our Legend. The event in 2007 is still in memory of our citizens. They are very proud of it, and I think it was a very unique event in the history of our city. The first one, and very unique. This is an example of article in our local newspapers. Of course, very important role in promotion of our event has electronic media. We use our city website, special website dedicated to the Toship races, and of course, social media. There are some examples of them. We cooperate very closely with the biggest Polish sailing magazine, the Sails Żagle. there was a lot of articles about our event in 2007 and 2013. They prepared a special booklet containing a description of every toll ship with a special place for seals. It was very popular. During our event, they prepared about 15,000 of such booklets. There's some examples, of course. And during the first stage, we prepared a lot of banners, photo exhibitions, which was situated in Szczecin and neighboring cities. Szczecin participated in nearly 65 events, and first, the most important for us was ITB in Berlin, the biggest European touristic fair. After the presentation, I will show you a minute film about ITB. So we prepared hundreds of thousands various promotion materials, programs, leaflets, city maps, cups, and so on, and we distributed them during various events. Summarizing, we spent nearly 185,000 euro for promotion in 2012, and we reached nearly 10 million people. We prepared a different slogan for the last stage of promotion: experience adventure of your life and see the final. Of course, we cooperated with local media, and we're increasing our promotion on national media, especially national TV and radio, and some commercial TV and radios, and of course national press. There is some example with official graphics. First time in history of our city, we cooperated with TV Discovery Channel, and 1041 spots was presented in TV in 27 European countries and in several countries in Asia. That spot I will present you after our presentation. Again, we cooperated with Żagle, the Sail, and we prepared a campaign in 12 largest multiplex cinemas in Poland, and before every film, spot about our event was presented in cinemas, and of course on screens in front of cinemas. Our partners again was a regional railway, and every single ticket was put on the cover with information about our event. We prepared 500,000 of such covers, and of course information was presented on screens in railways. Very important moment during our event. The president of the country joined us, and he participated in opening ceremony and during captain's dinner. And of course he was followed by several hundred journalists from TV, radio, press, and electronic media. It was, I think, very, very, very important for us. And result of our promotion. We are very proud that, according to estimation of our police, nearly 3 million people visited the final area. We are very much surprised about it, because in 2007, the final area was visited by nearly 2 million people. So it was a fantastic result. Facebook was very popular. Such an amount of visitors is something unusual for us. Saturday concert was very popular. The audience of 17% is something unusual for such an event. Nearly 2.8 million people watching our concert. Internet was very important. A lot of people watching our event via internet cameras. So nearly 160,000 hours live transmission on internet cameras. Mr. Soska can show you on his mobile application, which was very, very popular during our event. On Tuesday will be presented in Szczecin a special report which was prepared by our university. It's economical influence of tollship races on our economy. And we know that nearly 98% of visitors says that our organization was excellent. 96% said that such an event is fantastic promotion of our city. So nearly 17% of visitors came from foreign countries. So I think it's a good result of our promotion. And everybody, Szczecin, of course, are waiting for the next tollship races. We spent for our promotion 1,200,000 euros. If anybody asked us, is it worth to do? The answer is yes, yes, yes. This is the answer of our Prime Minister. So, thank you. And now we'll present you a very short film. This is ITV Berlin. We have a very special stand dedicated to the tollship races. It was a ship. There was a lot of quizzes, prizes. sad moment, empty quayside. Thank you very much. What stage is it?
Ladies and gentlemen, I was the project manager in Fredrikstad in 2005, and last time we planned very much only for the event. This time we are planning to do it broader. That means we have asked ourselves why we are doing it, and we have started to planning how. So I can't show you yet as Stettin a successful event, but I can try to share what we are thinking at this stage. About 5 years ago, the city of Fredrikstad, together with our museum, started to look at our attractions, our historical arenas, because we thought that if we would sell Fredrikstad, we had to go and see what was special for our city. Fredrikstad is a fortified town and is one of the best preserved towns in the northern Europe, but many people don't know it yet. You can see the star from the old city, and on the right hand side you can see the new city. As a goal for the city, we are working in order to get people to visit the city, to stay in the city, and to live in the city. And for the last years, we have a growth in people moving to Fredrikstad. So for our planning, this is sort of the most important. It is important with the tall ships races, but we see tall ships races as a part of it. This is another historical arena, also a part of the fortification. If you came by sea, you were met by cannons in this tower. This island is called Isgran and has a maritime history, centuries, and Inga will tell you lots about it a bit later. We are planning, this is a very calm island at the moment. People are walking with the dogs and just leaving the area. For the tall ships races, we are planning to show the people in Fredrikstad that this arena can use this for much more. Here you see it from the air. And if you're coming sailing to Fredrikstad, you will come the river up and then leave into the city on the left-hand side. In 2005, we had a design bureau to make all the visible profile, and we have the same firm this time. But as a backstage, we will use what is happening next year because of our 200th anniversary for our constitution. As you know, the Swedes came in 1814, and for 2014, we welcome the whole world. And this will be our slogan. So, Kristen, you will be welcome as well.
Thank you.
We also, the last year, have started to see how to come to Fredrikstad. At a map, Fredrikstad is about 20 minutes from the main road. and people are complaining that we don't get any visitors because they just pass and go to Oslo. We think now that why not look the other way, and we are nearest to the sea. So from now we are inviting guests from the seaside, and we also are planning for a new guest harbour, and started to work with the cruise market as well. The 200 years celebration for the Constitution, our county, Østfold, is very important because the most people has heard about Eidsvoll, where the law was decided, but since we had those threads, the Østfold was very important because we made the peace. That was absolutely essential in order to have our constitution. So our county will take a big role next year, and we are of course planning with 4 of the most important places. Fredrikstad is of course one of them. As a part of our trainee program, we have decided that the trainees will be peace sailors. And of course, we have to teach them our history, and they will be ambassadors on the ships, telling the story from Østfold 2014. The Tall Ships Races was nominated to the Nobel Peace Prize in 2007, and we think it's a good idea to take this message and to bring it on. The government in Oslo has, of course, a very huge program, and we have managed to get our peace sailing project into this program. And of course, we get a lot of attention about this trainees program. Yes, then we approach our maritime history, and the reason we do it is 1, money, and 2, because we think it's important to do and to tell you the real story about Fredrikstad. Not Hollywood or not Disneyland, but the real story. Just 2 sentences about our economy. In the Tall Ships Races project, we have approximately 150,000 euro in advertising and PR and marketing. That's not much, especially comparing to Stettin. But we have chosen to both use and cooperate with another project that we have called Business to Heritage. And then we have a budget about 1 million euro. And Ingeid will tell you about Business to Heritage and Tall Ships Races and maritime history. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Ingeid, and I've been project manager in Fredrikstad for the last 5 years in developing historical venues. Now, to last year, I'm only working with Musiksalen, which I will tell you about. If you're looking now, this will start a short film showing Christian Rallik going into Musiksalen last spring. There you have Musiksalen. And you have the 45 town on the other side of the river. Or in English, the green oasis of Fredrikstad, Musiksalen. Fredrikstad and Musiksalen have 750 years of maritime history. I will guide you briefly through 3 versions that have been close to mythological icons in Musiksalen. and Fredrikstad's history. Alv Erlingsson, Earl and nobleman back in the 13th century. He had high connections to the Norwegian kingdom, and he was also a warrior with a fleet located at Isegran. And he went on several violent missions out in Europe, and in the end he did the same in Norway. So he ended up as an outlaw and became a pirate the last part of his life. We go 400 years towards, and we meet this guy, Admiral Tordenskjold, who was a very important person in the Norwegian-Danish fleet and under the Great Nordic War. And one of his greatest victories was the Battle of Dynekilen, close to the Norwegian-Swedish border. And this is painting, of course, it's not a picture. But many of the Swedish boats from Dynekilen he brought back to Fredrikstad and Isegran as war trophies. And last but not least, Bjarne Aas, up in the 20th century, who was a great international boat designer and constructor. And among a lot of different boats, he constructed the International One design. This is from a regatta in Bermuda, in fact, where it still is active class, and in New York and in San Francisco, and of course in Norway. How can we use 750 years of history and make the arena more attractive today? We looked around and found a method that the National Park Service in USA started to use already at the 50s. And a guy called Freeman Tilden said these three very small and very important sentences: through interpretation, understanding, through understanding, appreciation, and through appreciation, protection. Because that's the mission when you have a heritage venue. You have to protect it for the future, but you also have to do it more attractive. And very briefly, what is interpretive planning and the method we are working with? It's to identify and describe specific user experiences and recommend ways to strengthen, encourage, maintain, facilitate, or otherwise assist the desired experiences. You have to find the core in the story, and you can't tell them everything. You have to dare to opt out. And last but not least, everything is about the visitor. How can we make our history or our venue interesting? 5 key words in interpretation. It is to provoke. Message story should create curiosity. You have to relate to the visitor's own life and experiences. You have to create the aha experience, providing the key message last in the history. Consistent message, choose the right design, colors, music, effects to reinforce, and addressing the whole. Everything should emanate from a main theme. And of course, this is the same as Shakespeare did in the 16th century, and every film movie producer uses this today, but we also can use this to develop a venue. We use this already. This is a stamp we made when it was 400 days left to the torches race next summer. This was the 6th of June this year. We made a stamp with the EOD boat on it and on a postcard which tells about the maritime history harbor at Isegran. And a year ago, the museum in Fredrikstad got this gift. And we thought, isn't that just a wreck? But at the same time, we were looking at the core in our story. And the core now, we have decided, has to be Bjarne Aas. And this is an International One design boat, built at Isegran in 1937. So we took the boat into the same building as Bjarne Aas built it in 1937, and we opened a new exhibition. And we shall show you a short film here as well. This is authentic from his boatyard. Center at Musiksalen, who is an active boatyard today, doing the work for the public. And this is the boat today. You see the keel is taken off and we are working on it, and next summer, when you come to Fredrikstad, of course, you will see how long we have gone then. We are planning to have it finished at summer 2015. And this is how we try now to connect the Easygran new brand with the Tall Ships Race brand. You see it also on the flyers you have out on the table here. And at the end we'll show another promotion film for Fredrikstad next summer. I hope.
In 1814, war comes to Fredrikstad. On August the 3rd, the Swedish army marches across and deployed.
Give me 20 seconds to load it in first. The files on the video is much bigger.
In 1814, war comes to Fredrikstad. On August the 3rd, the Swedish army marches across Krokeroy and deploys its guns on the northern part of the island. They are directed towards Fredrikstad. Aided by gunboats that are rowed upstream, they begin extensive shelling. The Norwegian commander, Lieutenant Colonel Christian Holst.
Can we save this to the end?
Yes.
After the next?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Just a suggestion, you can unselect HD, they will upload faster.
Ah, of course. No.
Oh, yeah. Click once and
Commander,
now it's full HD.
Clicking again.
Lieutenant Colonel,
Now,
this is troops to return fire. Gunfire thunders through the night, but the Swedish forces are superior in force and in number. At 6 o'clock on the morning of August the 4th, the white flag is shown, and the fortified town of Fredrikstad surrenders. Swedish troops march into Fredrikstad and remain there until spring the next year. A couple of days after the capitulation, Karl Johan arrives with his entourage and takes up residence in the commander's mansion. From there, he leads his army through the final week of the war, and on August the 15th, he signs the Convention of Moss, which marks the end of the war. This convention provides the basis for the union between Norway and Sweden.
How do you do? Welcome to sunny Auburn. I'm English, I come from Birmingham. We can't get much farther away from the sea than Birmingham, but never mind. I've lived in Auburn for 35 years. I'm the design director at an advertising agency, and I've done the Torsic races, design and helped them with the branding 4 times now. This is a little bit design technical, what I'll be talking about, but everybody will be able to follow. I've fulfilled a lifetime ambition by making a presentation without any writing at all. It's only pictures, so you have to listen to what I'm saying while you look in the pictures. I'll start with the fact that event branding is completely different from any other kind of branding. It's different from corporate branding, it's different from product branding, it's different from place branding as well, because there's a special time frame to it. You start with a build-up, an introduction to it, and you slowly build it up over a period of maybe 2, 3, 4 years. Then finally you get the crescendo, where you've got the actual event, which is normally just a short period of time, like 4 or 5 days, and then it's basically finished. So afterwards, all you've got is the memories. You've got you can remind yourself about it. So basically, we're trying to design to a system, whereas you create a crescendo, and then you've got the memories. So it has to be different, it has to be exciting, it has to be memorable. That's where we start at. Orbo, and not least Annie Valda. Where's Annie? Annie Valda was very influential. She saw the potential, and Orbo saw the potential in the Torsic races. And Orbo said, well, we'd like to do that kind of thing, we're good at that kind of thing. So they applied for to get the job as a host port, and it actually happened for them in 1999. They immediately started doing it. So they made a logo. It was called the Cuddy-Sark Torsic Races then. It was a top sponsor. And we quickly made a logo and had it approved by Sail Training International. It wasn't me that made the logo. When they started implementing the logo, they found out that first it wasn't particularly relevant, and the other thing it was rather difficult to work with because of the text was in the logo. The city coat of arms was being distorted and everything. So it wasn't particularly well done. So the council came to me and they said, we've got a bit of a problem here. We've got an approved logo, but we don't feel that it's the image we want. We don't feel we can do it properly. So what can we do? So I said, well, let's find out about how we can solve the problem. So first we started researching. We said, what is Torsic races? I didn't know what it was. I'd never heard of it before the council. I said, what is it and how does it work and everything? So we did a lot of research. We did a lot of looking at photos and finding things. And basically, what we said, it's a little bit special because it's 2 different events. We said first, it's a youth festival. We said it's a youth festival. It's the people, it's the young people that are meeting each other, doing something constructive, entertaining, and just enjoying themselves, basically. And then the other part of it is this magical and fantastic and theatrical backdrop, and this what's it called? A tribute to sail training, or not sail training, but sail ships and the traditions of sail ships and what happens with sail ships. And when you put the two together with the exuberance of youth and then the traditions of sail training, that's probably what makes it so magical. That it's a tradition that's been carried on basically by the youth. This is the essence of what tall ship races is. So what can we do with that? How are we going to do it? So we explained this to the council and we had a discussion about it, and they said, yeah, that's what we want. We want to monitor that. So I said, right, what we'll do is we'll make an illustration. We'll make it a really exciting illustration. So we did a watercolour of a ship in full regalia with the flags and everything, a part of the attitude, the presence of a tall ship. So, and we'll make it into a poster. So we did this. While we did this at the same time, I reduced the two logos to as little as possible to get them a little bit out of the way. And we ended up with this magnificent poster, which was the basic form for this is what it's all about. It's sailing, it's flags, it's exuberance, it's energy. What we did next was, we said, right, we'll make this into a logo. So we simplified the illustration and made it to a technical logo. So we could use this as a symbol for the Tall Ships Races 1999 in Orwell. We actually made 4 or 6, I think, different versions of this, so we simplified it more and more, so you could also embroider it in a very small surface. It wasn't actually necessary, we found out later, but that's what we did. But it's this excitement and this exposure of what it was. The actual branding at the port and all the way up to the thing worked really well. Everybody thought it was very nice and very beautiful. We used its own flags and banners and everything. A very simple form, but it had this exuberance, it had this show, this branding. The merchandising was a great success. The whole design of everything, the actual port with the flags and the banners and everything was fantastic. If you saw some of the films before, the most striking thing when they showed the tall ships in the port is the flags, it's the banners, it's the bunting, it's this, and it's moving and everything's happening. So it really worked well. Everybody was happy. Everybody thought it was really great. So we thought. What we did as well, I'll get onto this later, but what we did as well was, instead of, we used the same concept and developed it over the 4 different years coming up to the new one. But let's wait and see what happens. We thought it was really perfect and everybody happy, Orwell was really happy and merchandising was great and everything. But then after the event, Tall Ships, Sail Training International contacted me and they said, we thought it was really good what you did, we thought it was really exciting what you did, it looked fantastic, but you did actually break some of our rules and you did actually manipulate with the rules and regulations for the design or whatever. And Curtis Art weren't particularly happy about it, and Sail Training International weren't particularly happy about it because they didn't really get the exposure or the advertising out of it that they would have expected because we were a little bit naughty. So they said to me, but as you were so good at breaking and manipulating with the rules, you're probably the right person to make the new rules and the new regulations so they can't be broken. So I said, yeah, that sounds like a good idea, we'll do that. So what we actually did, we developed a design system for Sail Training International, which would safeguard Sail Training International's interests and their sponsors' interests, and at the same time giving a platform for the host ports to be able to work with. We developed the emblem system. I call it an emblem. It's not a logo. It's an emblem basically, and that's because there's a lot of information we had to cram into it. We had to have a logo. We had to have different titles. We had to have the port name. We had to have the dates, and then we wanted some graphics as well. So basically, it becomes an emblem. And we said, if we make this form, which will always be Sail Training International, and the host port puts its logo or its design inside that, then you've got control over it. The next thing we did, we said, there always has to be a certain size. So it's on a t-shirt, it's a certain size. If it's on a mug, if it's on a banner, it has to be a certain percent of the actual banner. Which means that this emblem that we create for each port, well, there'll be a continuity there'll be a continuity, and there'll also be a place for the port to expose or profile itself. That's what we ended up with, and that's what they're still doing today. The design is also when you've got neutral emblems, where you've just got the date or the year, or whatever. So you can use it to a lot of things, and Cell Training International will always be very present and always be very visual. But what we really wanted to do was make room for the ports as well. What it meant was that you could get all these variations, you can keep changing it, you can do a lot of things with it, and it's still Cell Training International, it's still toolship traces. So we basically got control over the design and the images like that. What I'm going into now is, so what's the branding value of toolship trace? We saw what they did in Poland, in Sticks, and it's really exciting. And that was, they wanted an international image. The toolship traces has got a very good international value with exposure and profile. But it's not the most important. It's also got a national image, whereas people are saying, oh, what are they doing over there? But the most important, the way I see it, is the actual local or regional value. It's saying, look what we're doing, see what we are. We've got the toolship traces, and it's a part of the area. I just said to my friend the other day, every time the toolship traces are in orbit, everybody in North Jutland seems to be about 2 inches higher. They're proud, they want it in their area. They want this celebration of sail, a celebration of youth. So when we're doing the marketing and the branding, we want North Jutland to be proud of it, and that's one of the biggest values it's got. I can't remember where I'm going now, so I'll just have to look at my notes. In 2002, Annie came to me and we said, we've just heard that because of certain circumstances, they want us to be a host port in 2004, which means we've only got 2 years. So she said the solution to it is, we'll use the same logo as before. And I said, well, we could, but first I wouldn't get a job out of it. And the other thing is that I don't think it's quite right. I said, I think the concept's good. The concept of the boat, the flags, the excitement or whatever is right, but it's not the same event. It's the same concept, it's not the same event. We ought to show that we're moving forward, we ought to show that it's something new, it's something more exciting, but there should be a form of continuity. So what we ended up was developing the logo. So we kept the same image and we kept the same concept, but we changed the style. So in 2004, which is also the first year that we started using the emblem for Cell Training International, so I did the 2 things at the same time, basically. We redesigned and redrew the logo. So we ended up with that there. And then in 2010, we redrew it again and made it, again, more contemporary, more living. A lot of people didn't think we changed it. When you see them, the one emblem after the other, they think it's the same. But it's only when you actually put them by the side of each other, you see how different they are. And that's because we can show we renewed it and at the same time kept it the same. Did it work? That's a Danish word that I didn't quite catch. It means presentation. So what we ended up with was developing the design over several years. I don't know how much of that like. I'll show you now the 3 designs that we've done, and we see what we actually use it for. Because although we've got the host port and put it inside the ST emblem, so we've got control over it. That means that if you use it at the right size, that basically means all the other space is open for your own interpretation. You can use all the other space to profile the host port, and that was the whole idea. And that's what we've been doing over the last few years. So when we took this design for 2004, we can use it in different ways. That became the actual logo, or whatever. We call it, it's like a Switch logo. But then put it on a blue background, and it becomes a completely different illustration. It becomes very dominant, very exciting. We also put it on the letterheads and everything. So we're giving it its own style and its own personality at the same time as we're not manipulating with the actual Cell Training International design. Scarves and ties and everything, it gets a dynamic if you want to be noticed what it is. But it's still the basic same bit design. It was a bit heavy, the blue one, so we also made an alternative where it's got a lighter design. The printers weren't that keen on it when I was using this kind of thing, because they were having trouble controlling the blue because it was so strong. So they said, next time we get it, can you avoid using the dark blue background? But we made a lighter version as well for banners and flags, because also you could use the two together. The next time we said, all right, we'll make the design and we'll change the design again, we'll develop it a little bit further, and we made it a sharper design. So the other one was round, now we make it sharp, it was more contemporary. We simplified it again as well. So we introduced a frieze, so which is taking the elements from the logo and making it into a frieze. This frieze also became the background or the backdrop to all the graphics we did and everything. So everything was hanging together. What we also did, we introduced some new colours because we wanted to make it even more exciting and living. So we made secondary colours to give it even more variation and flexibility. As you can see, that's the. I've never seen so many addresses and names and everything. No, I know that. Anyway, we got them in, but again, so we introduced a frieze and put it in, so we make it our own, and it's not just Cell Training International, it's not just all this tall ship faces, it's also all balls, and you've got a lot of room for it. Envelopes, visit card, or whatever. So we can use elements of the design as well to make these very strong graphics that we can use again as a backdrop to everything. So it really becomes quite a cacophony of colour and movement and everything. And it's within the design rules and regulations. So there's lots of room for profiling. There's the host ports. White background, blue background. Again, the t-shirts, originally we only had white and blue. Now we could introduce other colours because it was in the middle of the summer and we wanted to accommodate the female element as well, and they wanted more colours. Ties and scarves, banners and flags, whatever. Everything. You can do everything with it, and it's all board. At the same time, Cell Training International are quite happy with it. The next design is the one we're doing in 2 years' time. Again, same concept, just turn it around a little bit. When we have discussions and finding out how it went and everything, one of the discussions they have in Aalborg is that we've got a great harbour, a great area, and it's really good. And the town centre is literally 100, 150 yards away. But people don't quite get there. They stay mainly on the front, whatever, and they'd like to get it into the town as well. So we said, how can we make the centre of the town incorporated with the port front and the harbour, or whatever. So what we did was said, well, we've got a theme now, which is bigger than all the designs, so everybody in Norway and the tourists, they know what it is. And these were the red and the yellow flags, the bunting. So we said, we'll expose that and we'll lift that up as a symbol for the tall ships races in Aalborg, which is basically the yellow and the red flags. So basically the design, I simplified it and used this will be the background and this will be the form. We make the logo occur because of the sponsor thing and everything. So now we want to have, I think it's a rule as well, that you have to have the host port name within the logo form, within the place you've got in the emblem. So that meant, and I said, well, we might as well just integrate it. So we did that, and that's what we ended up with. So a visiting card will be like this. So the flags and the bunting, and now the backdrop or the design. Different elements, things, whatever. What I want to show is that there is a hell of a lot of room for developing the port profile and not without annoying cell training internet. So what we said is, if you've got all these banners and whatever going up, I said, what about bunting? So we actually ordered 25 kilometers of bunting, yellow and red flags in China. So they cost almost nothing. And what we'll be able to do is we'll be able to drag the bunting from the port into the town, which will actually drag the people into the town, so, that's the hope. So we're expanding the area by just using flags, because the flags are part of the image of all World Cup. Good idea, branding flexibility. The actual design of what the ports use and what they use to profile can be discussed in a lot of ways. Some ports use their own coat of arms, which is all right, and it says something. First, the local and the regional, they know it, so the news in it is putting up by the side of Sail Train International and tall ships races. So you're renewing the coat of arms in that way. But it does limit, if you want the tall ships back, it limits the possibilities of making a continuity next time, because you can't really change your coat of arms or whatever. But there again, we did a design for Antwerp, which was on the basis. It was never used, but never mind. But the idea was what's Antwerp got and what have tall ships got, and we were talking about diamonds and flags. So we end up with a kind of design that says something about the town and says something about tall ships racing, and it's also party and exciting and different. And that's the way we were thinking then. Instead of using normal symbols, we create new symbols for, especially to combine the port, the host port, and Sail Train International tall ships racing. So this is the last one now. I said, if anybody wants to design, I'm more than welcome to do it for you. But I was really thinking about new ways of doing it as well. How can I change things? So what I did actually, I made a new one, and nobody owns it yet. Which is basically, again, we're trying to show the attitude, the happiness, the way we can live. It will also be memorable, which is one of the criteria I think is important. But the other thing is, he could also be used. The dancing sailor could also be used as a communicator. You could start using him in the build-up to the actual talks. You could actually use him as a communicator and as a symbol, whatever, which would make it extra stronger. That's it. Nothing else. Thanks a lot.